What if I told you that one of the world's biggest financial powerhouses didn't start in some fancy boardroom? Nope, it started under a tree. Today, we're going to unpack the absolutely wild story of the Bombay Stock Exchange. So take a look at this. This iconic building, that's the nerve center of Indian finance. We're talking about the BSE, the Bombay Stock Exchange. This thing is an absolute powerhouse, the oldest stock exchange in all of Asia, and one of the biggest in the entire world. It's basically a monument to modern economic might. But the real question is, how did this massive institution even begin? Its roots, believe it or not, they're not in glass and steel. They're literally in the dirt of 19th century Bombay, right under the branches of a banyan tree. All right, so to really get the skyscraper, we've got to go back to the seed. Let's wind the clock back, way back, to a time before trading floors and blinking computer screens. Okay, picture this. It's the mid-1800s. Bombay is absolutely buzzing. The city is exploding. It's this massive hub for commerce, for shipping, for trade, all fueled by things like cotton and opium. You can almost feel it, right? The air is just thick with ambition, the sound of a city that's on its way up. And right in the middle of all this hustle and bustle, you've got this small group of brokers. I mean, just a handful of guys. They start meeting up, totally informal, to trade shares in the companies that are making the city boom. And their office? Get this, it's the shade of a banyan tree. No fancy building, no computers, nothing. Just deals made on a handshake. But this quiet little informal market, well, it was about to get hit by a complete tidal wave of cash and crazy speculation. An event that would change literally everything. They called it the Great Indian Share Mania. So what caused it? Funny enough, a war happening thousands of miles away. When the American Civil War kicked off, cotton supplies from the US just stopped. So the British textile mills, they all turned to India. All of a sudden, cotton prices went through the roof, and just an unbelievable amount of wealth started pouring right into Bombay. And what do you do with all that new money sloshing around? You invest it. A crazy speculative fever just gripped the entire city. It felt like everyone wanted in on the action. We're talking people from all walks of life, just throwing money at shares, absolutely convinced they were going to get rich overnight. And this chart, wow, it just shows you how nuts things got. Just look at these numbers. Between 61 and 64, a single share in the Bank of Bombay shoots up from 500 rupees to over 2,800. But that's nothing. A share in the Colaba Land Company, it goes from 10,000 rupees to a jaw-dropping 120,000 rupees. Yeah. That's an 1,100% increase. It was a speculative bubble of absolutely epic proportions. Fortunes were literally being made overnight. Well, you know what they say, what goes up must come down. The American Civil War ends in 1865. The cotton boom completely collapses and the market, it crashed hard. But out of all that chaos, something new was born, a sense of order. All those brokers realized, okay, we can't let that happen again. We need rules. We need a real structure. So in 1875, they finally got together and formed the Native Share and Stock Brokers Association. And that name was a big deal, you know? It was a way of saying we're the Indian brokers, setting themselves apart from the British merchants. It was a huge moment for Indian-led finance. And these are the guys who made it happen. They're the ones who took those casual meetups under the banyan tree and turned them into a real formal institution, one with a permanent home and, most importantly, a set of rules. This, right here, was the official birth of what we now call the Bombay Stock Exchange. So let's just recap that wild origin story real quick. It starts super informal in the 1850s, then it just explodes during the share mania in the 60s, and finally, in 1875, it becomes a real proper institution. And from that point on, the story is just one of incredible growth and change. It's the story of how the exchange went from the streets of Bombay to the global stage. Just look at this comparison. On one side, you have that small group of visionary brokers. On the other, a modern financial skyscraper. This one image says it all, doesn't it? It captures over 100 years of ambition and progress. Just an incredible journey from the street to the sky. And believe me, that journey was not always smooth. This exchange has survived depressions, wars, even direct terrorist attacks. Back in 1993, a bomb ripped through the basement of the building. But you know what? Just like after that big crash in 1865, the BSE rebuilt and reopened. It just proved how incredibly resilient it was.
The next huge leap, technology. That chaotic, loud world of the trading floor, with everyone shouting and waving papers, that all gave way to the quiet hum of servers and the speed of light. In 1995, the BSE went digital, embracing electronic trading. It completely revolutionized the market, making it faster and really more accessible to everyone.
And that brings us to today, where the BSE is still right at the very heart of India's economic story. It's the place where the country's biggest companies go to raise money, and it's where millions of everyday investors get to be a part of the nation's growth. When you look back on this whole journey, it's pretty clear why the BSE earned the nickname India's modern temple of wealth. I mean, think about it. From a simple meeting spot under a tree to this huge, complex, global institution. It's been such a long, winding, and honestly, a very dramatic journey. Kind of like this iconic staircase you see inside the building. It's a journey that has spanned generations, completely transforming not just a city, but an entire nation. It's really a testament to that fundamental human drive to trade, to invest, and to build something bigger. So, from a humble banyan tree to a global powerhouse, the Bombay Stock Exchange has never stopped evolving. And now, as it looks to the future, with new technologies and new global challenges on the horizon, it leaves us all with one final, really fascinating question. What's the next chapter for this temple of wealth?